Okay, we're back at it after a weekend, a little weekend getaway to the coast. I picked up my head tube from the machine shop. They went ahead and machined this piece of tubing for me so that the races for the bearings will fit in there. So we got to get those pressed in and start building the rest of this bike. Yeah, we got to get this welded in here, and then we'll go from there. All right, here's where we are. Everything is straight. In order to mount this tube, I notched it to the right angle of this, you know, the opposite angle of this. And then I used this piece of tubing here and I put it on the plate to hold up the back of this and with a magnet, and got it all squared up and tacked in. So here's where we are at this point. I threw the engine back in. I want to check every time I put something on here, make sure I'm not going to run into some sort of problems. So now, what we did on the last bike is we put a piece of tubing right here, basically. So we had it come down to the plate here and curve up and wrap around here. Super simple, very effective. Problem is that shock mounting is impossible, because you have this big piece, you have this piece of tube coming up out over here, so you have to mount the shock somewhere on here, and it just doesn't, it's not going to work, because when I put the shock in here, it needs to sit at about like this angle right here. Pretty close to, here's the shock. So, okay, I guess we could just let's throw the swing arm back on there again. Take a look at this. Before I go and mount anything to this, I'm going to put the spacers in and make sure everything's perfect. But this is pretty much how the shock has to sit in here. So if I put a big piece of tubing here, there's nowhere to mount it, you know, except for way up here. But then I have to move the shock out, and the tire is right here, so I can't move the shock any further out that way. And that's about probably where it would have to be to clear a tube if I put it through there. So, yeah, so my idea is to bring a couple pieces of tubing up through here and somehow meet up with here and make a shock mount. This is a tough part. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to put a piece of angle across here, because the seat mounts on there. So let's see if I can find a piece of angle. Okay, so I found something. I made this in school when I was in welding school. It's like a chicken feeding trough. It's just basically one of the first projects that we did. And it's actually perfect for what I need. So I'm going to cut this thing up, and I'm going to use a chunk of it on here. And I'll show you guys how the seat slides into there. And yeah, let's cut this thing up so we can use it. getting there. You know, now we have the shock mount. We got to build the front shock mount, or the top shock mount. That's going to be tricky because we gotta put some tube work in here that kind of, you know, I guess I could bring it out, just run it along the edge basically and hook it into the edge here and then build something in between the two tubes. It's probably what I'm gonna do because trying to bend a tube to come out this way and then zigzag in here to get closer to the shock, I don't think that's gonna be very possible. So I need to take some measurements and figure out what I can do to build this tube from here up to there. So I'm thinking that I need a 90 here basically to come up this way, come under the swing arm bolt, come up this way, and then, well, maybe come up to about here and then start to angle up towards this plate. So that will make all of this very strong, and it will give us a spot to mount this guy. So if we can kind of bring this tube out and then have it intersect with where this is gonna mount, you know, so we can build something across between the two, that would be perfect. But I'll show you guys one more thing. We got our seat here. I'll go ahead and put that on for you. That'll give you a better idea where we're going. Oh, let me get this tube out of here. So yeah, that's not, I mean, it's gonna sit more like that. So all that's left really is just to finish, you know, this tube structure here, mount the shock, and then finish building the structure for the seat, which I've got already halfway done. And yeah, we'll have a frame. All right, good morning everybody. I've swapped to a different camera because my other camera was I got some stuff on the lens, and now I actually have to order a new lens. But I got this other one, so that's good. Today we are going to continue on this project, and what I'm looking at making is this piece right here, which fits just like this, and is going to be the connection between the lower part of the frame and the seat mount. Worked out perfectly. I'm getting better at this. So I'm going to make the duplicate of this. I'm going to chop it off. Actually, it needs to be chopped off here and here. But yeah, we'll get these things fit up. All right, this is starting to get really exciting here. I got my rear tire back on. Oop, there goes my nut. Disc brake and sprocket on. This thing is ready to go. The reason I have done that is because we are ready to mount this shock. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a couple spacers in here, and I'm going to put a bolt straight through. So, but in order to put this thing where I need it, I need to get the rear tire on the swing arm. I need to get the forks on. I need this thing to be sitting pretty much at droop, I guess, would be the best way to explain it. With all the suspension dropped out, that's how I'm going to set it up to start with. And then we'll get that in there, and hopefully it's close to where we need it. But we also have a lot of adjustment in our shock, so it'll work out. But yeah, I got to move to a different part of the shop, set this thing up so I can actually start putting it together. Feels like a lot has happened today. So, a lot of big things have happened today. This is the first time. Well, I figured out that I got a bolt hitting my adjuster over here. So I'm gonna have to do something about that, but this is the first time it's been under its own weight, and the first time I'm gonna put weight on it to see what it does. Oh, that is really good, actually. Holy cow, I can't believe it. I was thinking this is an 800, can't remember, it's like an 850 pound spring or an 820 pound spring, and I was thinking it was gonna be way too stiff, but it's absolutely perfect, it feels like. Yep. Yep, that's pretty nice. These fronts are way too soft. I'm not sure what to do about that, but it's a problem with one of our other bikes that's running the same forks, so. Sweet. That means that I can move on. I want to put a couple little gussets in here just to brace this up. And then probably need some gussets here. But let's throw the engine in here. I got to fix my problem that I got going over here. What else? What else? Oh, I want to gusset these up, but next is going to be building that seat structure. But let's throw the engine in here just to kind of see how it looks. Here we go. Wow. This is coming along. Okay, so I'm at a point where I actually want to, I'm going to take this thing back apart, finish the seat mount, do the gusseting, finish everything on the frame. I'm going to build a tank next, so, yeah, I don't need this on here for that. So, yeah, but before I take the front end apart, I want to get this fender fit. This thing is sweet looking, but it's massive. It's built for, I think it's a KTM 125 or something. So I'm going to cut this up and make sure that it fits the way that I want it to. And I think that, yeah, that right there. And then I got to cut a big chunk out of here. So I'll come back at you guys when that's. Okay, so the next thing I need to do, I got this thing cut down. We need to figure out how to reattach it together and not make it look like crap. So I'm going to work on that. mocked up here. This one will sit right about here, and that will go on there, and that'll look pretty sweet. So I'll check back in with you when I figure out what the heck I'm doing with this. Okay, so here it is. The back part's the only one bolted on right now. I gotta go get some hardware for this front part. But yeah, pretty simple. And then that just bolts up under here, which I need to get hardware for that too, but I got some temporary hardware here. So we can put it up here. This came out way better than I expected. Check that out. Whew, just perfect on this thing. Wow. I'm so happy with this. Okay. So yeah, there you go. Fender and headlight. That front end is officially, well, I guess it's not officially done because I still have to actually get the hardware, the permanent hardware. But yeah, it's pretty much done. I don't have to put anything else on here. You know, the brakes on, everything, the guards, the headlight. You know, the only thing I need to do is get the throttle and other grips on there. But I'm waiting to do that because I don't want to get them all dirty while I'm working on it. So yeah, this front end is done, and now I can pull it off the bike because I need to take this thing back down to the frame to do a little bit of finish welding and to start making the gas tank, and oh yeah, and building the seat. So it's just gonna be easier if I take it back down to the frame, put it on the bench so I can finish building the seat in that tubing structure. But yeah, I'm super happy with this. I've been going at this for about 12 hours today, so I am toast. I'm done. So I'm going in, going to bed. But I'm super happy to be at this point with this bike. It's getting there. That's going to wrap it up for this episode. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one.